Hi everyone, my name is Nargis Nasreen and we are here to solve another question on SQL, and today is day 23 of solving 100 questions on SQL. So the question we are going to solve today is users by average session time, and this question got asked in Meta. So the question is calculate each user's average session time, where the session is defined as the time difference between page load and the page exit. Assume each user has only one session per day. If there are multiple page load or page exit events on the same day, use only the latest page load and the earliest page exit. Ensuring the page load occurs before the page exit, output the user ID and their average session time. Okay, so in this case, what is happening? So let's quickly see the table so that we can understand better. So we have this table, Facebook weblog, where we have users and the ID is given for each user. Okay, and then we have timestamp, and on that timestamp, what was the action taken, whether the user loads the page or scroll up, scroll down, page exit, and so on. So what we have to do for each user, we have to find out on a particular date what is their page load time and what is their page exit time. Then we have to find out the difference between that. And if there are multiple records of each user on different dates, because one user can log in on different dates as well, so there will be multiple sessions created. So if for one user there are different sessions on different dates, then we have to find out the average session time of each user by calculating the average of the difference between the page load and the page exit. Okay, and in the question, it is also mentioned that on same day, if there are multiple page load, that is the user has logged in multiple times on the same day, then we have to take the latest page load. And if there are multiple page exit as well, so we have to take the earliest, the first page exit time. Okay. So this is what is mentioned in the question. And one more thing is mentioned, that is page load is always going to occur before page exit. Obviously, that is the first we have to log in, then only we can log out. We cannot do the opposite of it. So page load should occur before the page exit. That is page exit time should be greater than page load time. Okay. So what we have to do from the given table, we are first going to find out the different dates. We have the timestamp. Okay. But as you can see, like we have the same date but different timestamp. So these two records are going to be different based on the timestamp. But we have to find out on one day, what is the page load value? Like if I'm going to find out, see, for this user ID 0, on the same date, he logged in twice, right? That is, he loads the page. And which one we have to consider? We have to consider this one. Why? Because it is the latest one. Okay. As mentioned in the question, we have to take the latest one. Okay. So when we get the latest one, so on 25th of April, this user logged in. Okay. But we also need, like on different dates, what is their session time? Okay. So we need date column as well. So how we are going to find out the date column? So it's very simple. We just have to write down date and pass the column name, time stamp. Let's run this. See, so now we have extracted the date. Let me name this as date. So we have extracted the date from the timestamp. So it is giving the values of date. Okay. Now next thing what we need. So as we saw on same day, there are two different values, but for single user, we need only one. And if it is a page load, we have to take the latest one. If it is page exit, we have to take the earliest one. We do not have to worry about the action which is scroll down, scroll up, because these are not going to be in use to calculate the session time. To calculate session time, we only have to use page load and page exit time and the difference between that. Okay. So let's see. So what we need I'm going to write down a case statement. That is case when action is equal to page load, then take timestamp, okay, and end. And now for page load, which timestamp we have to take? We have to take the maximum one. So I'm going to put maximum here as, let's end it as page load. page load. Okay. Okay. Now, so we are using an aggregate function here. So then we have to take the maximum page load. When for same user, the login is happening different at different times on the same day. Okay. So if for the same day there are multiple records, we have to take the latest one. So we are going to do group by. Why? Because we using group by, we are going to identify like on the same date, what are the different timestamp value for the page load. Okay. And then we are going to select the maximum one based on this. So we have to do group by. We have to do group by on user because for each user there should be unique record. So it is going to be user ID. And then the next we are going to do it on date. So for example, for this user ID 0, we will have record 0, this date, and page load timestamp. Okay, page load timestamp, this one. Okay, then again for this user on the same date, we will have this timestamp value, right? And based on this query, what we are doing out of these two timestamps, we are selecting the maximum one. So it is going to give us this one. Let me run this code to show you. What is the error? Okay, let's remove this. We do not have to take this. Let's only take, okay, this will come here. Okay. See, so on this date, let's take user ID as well. So for user ID 0, on this date, we saw two timestamp, but it is selecting the maximum one, right? For user ID 1, again, there might be multiple timestamp and it is selecting the maximum one for the page load. For user ID 2, on this date, this is the maximum timestamp for page load. Okay. Similarly, we are going to do it for page exit as well. So let me copy this and I'm going to put it here. So this is going to be page exit and this name should also be page exit. Okay. Now, next thing is in page exit, it is mentioned that we have to take the earliest page exit. That is the page exit that happened for the first time. That is it is going to be minimum. Okay. Now let's run this. Okay. So for user ID 0, this is the page load time and this is the page exit time on this date. For user ID 1, this. For user ID 2, there is no page exit time. So user has logged in, but he has not logged out. Okay. Next thing what we have to do, now we have to find out the difference between these two columns, that is page load and page exit, so that we can find out on each day what is their average session time. Okay, so we have two more records for user ID 0 and user ID 1 because it might has happened that the same user has logged in on different date, right? So as we are doing group by on user ID date, so it is finding out the unique record of each user ID and each date. So this is one unique record, that user ID 0 on this date. Then again, this is another unique record. Okay. So on this date, this was the page load time and this is the page exit time. So that is why we created the date column and we are grouping it on user ID and the date so that we will have a unique combination of user ID and date. And based on that, we are going to find out the page load and the page exit time. Okay. So this is what we have done till now. Next thing is we have to find out the difference between page load and the page exit time. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a common table expression. So I'm going to write down with CTES. Let's run this code. Select a star from CT. Okay, we are getting this. Now what we have to do, we have to find out, I'm going to write down user ID and page load, comma page exit. And we have to find out the difference between these timestamps. So when we have to find out the difference between the timestamps, we use this timestamp diff. Then we have to mention in what format, we need it in seconds. Then we have to pass the column names. page exit. Okay, let's name this as time difference. Okay, so now let's run this. See, so we are getting for user ID 0, page load time is this, page exit time is this, and time difference is this. Okay, and for user ID 1, we are getting, and again, for we have 2 more records for user ID 0 and user ID 1 on different dates. Okay, so we do not need these 2 columns as well. Just for reference, I kept it here. I'm going to remove this. Now let's run this. Okay, so now for each user, we have a time difference. That is, what is their session time. So on different dates, we are getting this, but we have to find out the average session time. Okay, that is in total, what is their average session time. Okay, so for this, what we are going to do, we just have to mention average here, that we are calculating the average, and let's name this as average time difference. And now we have to do what? We have to group by on user ID, because for each unique user, we want average session time. So I'm going to write down group by user ID. Now let's run this. Okay, so this is what we are getting for user ID 0. This is the average session time. For user ID 1, this is the average session time, and user ID 2, there is nothing because there was no page exit time. Okay, that is why there is no value here. So we have completed the query, but we have one more thing to mention here, which was in the question, that is page load should occur before page exit. So it's good to put the condition here. So I'm going to put condition here where page load is less than page exit. Now let's run this. We are getting this. So using this, user ID 2 got removed because page load was not less than page exit time. That is why, because there was no time in the page exit timestamp. So yeah, this is what we are getting. And for user ID 1 and user ID 0. Now let's see the expected output. And it is matching, right? So we get our query. We have completed the question. Now let's try to submit it. So our code got submitted and our query is correct. So this is how we solve this problem. It is a very good question. Okay, that is, we should know about few things. That is, we created one new column that is called as date. Then we grouped by on user ID and date. We should know how to calculate the difference between two different timestamp using this timestamp diff. And you have to mention here as well that in what format you want. So we want in second. So using these things, we completed this query. Sometimes your code is going to work for some test cases without this condition, but if mentioned in the question, we have to put it here. Okay, so yeah, this is about this question. I hope you understand this. If you have any problem, you can put it in the comment section. If you have more solution to this, you can put that too in the comment section. So yeah, have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.